Greetings and welcome to the studio of Wild Treasures of an Outdoorsman. My name is Peter Updike, and today's video is going to showcase traditional turkey hunting. What does that mean? It means from generation to generation, handed down through the years, there's always been a process that leads to success. If you go elk hunting in Colorado with a bow and arrow, there is a process that you follow. Not always, but for most, that leads to success. If you hunt white-tailed deer in the South or in the Midwest, there's a good process. Some people do spot and stalk, but most of the time, if you want to kill a deer with a bow and arrow, you need to do it from a tree stand. That's a process that works for most deer hunters. If you want to go mule deer hunting with a rifle, typically you don't do that from a tree stand. You do spot and stalk from long distances, right? These processes have been developed over time. Same with turkey hunting. And many of my hunting companions, will say, on public land, don't know or understand the process of turkey hunting, the traditional style that leads to success. They're doing other things. And this came to my attention when a deer hunter asked me about turkey hunting and asked me if he could do it from a tree stand. Well, I'm making this video for him, okay? So I want him to be successful. I want him to go afield avoiding other hunters at all costs. I want him to go with confidence, knowing that he's doing the right thing. So yeah, this is what I do. And I've learned the old school art of turkey hunting, and I'm going to pass it on to you today. But first, got something I want to show you. This is a hardy pot. If you're hunting in the swamps of Florida and the flatwoods where longleaf pines were dominant at the turn of the century, you might find pieces and parts of these pots laying on the ground. These were used in the turpentine industry, okay? And I found this one in the Richland Wildlife Management area, and it's perfectly legal for you to pick up these pots and take them home if you find one. Be so lucky to find one fully intact like I have. And I keep all of my turkey feet. I used to cut off the spurs, but I got to where I don't do it anymore. I just save the feet. Look at that big old long hook on that. This is part of what we'll call the turkey hunting culture, all right? There's a culture that comes with turkey hunting, and this is going to help us with today's video, because we're going to divide, or let's say separate culture from process, all right? All of these turkey legs I've got, birds that I've taken on private and public land. Look at those big hooks. Look at that thing, man. Here's some spurs. I got a multitude of turkeys. I don't know how many turkeys I've killed. I think it's probably less than 40, but more than 30 in my hunting career. All on public and private land in Georgia and Florida. So yeah, I've been around. But that's a hardy pot. If you find one, maybe you can display it in your room and put your turkey spurs in there and keep it safe. I like having it up on the mantle. And when I'm getting ready to go turkey hunting, I want to be encouraged. I kind of get it down and I go through my turkey spurs and I look them. There's a few of them in there I recognize from certain hunts, but mostly not. So okay, let's get started with the first topic at hand. If you're going to go traditional turkey hunting, you won't be doing it with a rifle. I know that there are some places that you can hunt turkeys with a rifle, and that is not traditional turkey hunting, okay? Shooting from a shooting house on a baited field or a food plot, we'll not say a baited field because that's not legal anywhere, I don't think. In some places you can shoot with a rim fire. That is not traditional turkey hunting. You'll need to get a shotgun. I'm going to show you mine first. I hunt with a 12 gauge 3-inch Magnum. This is an 1187 Remington automatic fitted with a fast fire 3 red dot sight system. I use that because my vision isn't as good as it used to be. But this is the shotgun I used, and it's fitted with a Rhino choke tube. That's a really tight choke, and we'll dive into that a little later. But yeah, this is the gun that I take afield when I go turkey hunting, okay? But you don't have to go out and buy a specific turkey gun to go turkey hunting. If all you have is an Ithaca, a sawed-off Ithaca Model 37 like I've got here. I bought this shotgun in my youth. I bought this like in 1985. I paid $150 for it. It's, like I said, it's been cut down. It's got this poly choke on the end of it. And this poly choke is frozen into place, but it's frozen into place in extra tight choke. That means the pattern is very small. Gives you more range. And that's going to be an important aspect to traditional turkey hunting, okay? But if all you have is a single shot 12 gauge, I would recommend using a full choke. I would not do anything less than a full choke. And if you can work your way up to a choke tube on whatever shotgun you have in the future, but never ever let the shotgun that you have keep you from going turkey hunting. The most important aspect of the gun that you choose to go turkey hunting, whether it's a 12 gauge or a 20 gauge, I know some guys are going out and hunting turkeys with a 410. That's kind of become a cultural thing again. We're getting into the culture of turkey hunting, stepping up the game, making things a little harder. And yeah, that's what they do. But if you've got a shotgun and you're going to take it turkey hunting, you'll need turkey load. Now, yeah, you need to go to Sportsman's Warehouse or the gun shop, wherever sporting goods are sold, and get a turkey load. This is what I use. I use Magnum Bland. These are heavy shot, and it's 3-inch, and it fits in my Remington. I've got shells for my Ithaca because it's only 2 3/4. But you want to shoot the best shells possible. This is what I shoot. Yeah, they're good. They're good shells. It's a blend of 4s, 5s, and 6s, right? Packed up with some high energy. And boy, I sure tell the difference when I shoot these shells. You know, just in the report and the kick of the gun. So yeah, I've killed turkeys at a range and distance further than I'm willing to admit. But yeah, those are the shells that you'll need to fit the gun that you have. And then before you go turkey hunting, you'll need to get you some turkey targets like this one. And you'll take that target and you'll put it on a cardboard box. And you'll get back to a certain range and you'll probably need, I don't know, a half a dozen targets. So you can learn the effective range of the gun that you'll be hunting with. If your effective range is only 20 yards, you'll know and understand that the turkey needs to be within 20 yards. Now, this target teaches you a little something. What this target teaches you is a traditional turkey hunter always shoots at the base, top portion of the neck, and to the head. That you want to surround this area. You want to fog this area with bird shot, okay? If you shoot a turkey in the body, yeah, you'll probably destroy what you can eat, and he might even fly away because the feathers are very dense on a wild turkey, and it may not kill him right away, and he'll fly away. If you shoot him in the head, spine, neck, yeah, and in the brain, he will not recover, and you'll be able to get your bird, okay? It's important that you run out and you get your bird as quickly as possible after you shoot it, because I have been known to get up and run off. I always like to grab my bird by the feet and put my foot under his neck and break his neck. And targets, know the effective range. Get the shells for the shotgun that you're going to be hunting with. And yeah, go afield knowing how far that turkey needs to be. Sometimes some of these guys are shooting out to 40, 50 yards. All right, so you've got your gun, you've got your target, you set it up. Now, what else do I need? Well, if you're going to be hunting in the South like me, I would counsel you to get a pair of snake boots. Get a good pair of snake boots that come up close to the knee, knee-high boots. And I prefer waterproof snake boots. And that's what I run. I hunt in these Rocky snake boots. So you get a set of snake boots. You'll also need to camo up, okay? Camouflage is an important part of the traditional turkey hunter's process, all right? So we're going to start off with old school. Old school would mean, yeah, I can go turkey hunting in blue jeans, okay? Because I use the natural habitat to cover up. When I'm sitting on the ground, which that's the way we'll be doing, we'll talk about that in a minute. Dark, drab, green shirt, okay, is acceptable, all right? I would not forsake my turkey hunting because I didn't have any camouflage, but I would wear a dark green, long sleeve shirt, drab, and we'll talk about our setup in a minute. But with a good setup, I can wear blue jeans and the drab shirt, but I also have bug tamer, jacket, which goes over my shirt. Again, if I'm wearing my jeans, I can get away with it. Most of the time when I'm calling in a turkey, I'm hugging the ground. And my legs are not visible, okay? But many times, I hunt with the leaf suit. Gives me a little bit more confidence. Now what I'll do is I'll just get dressed in my normal clothes that if I'm going to the woods, jeans and a long sleeve shirt. Maybe it's cool outside. But I'll cover up when I get there these pants, this leaf suit on the legs and the jacket on top. And it even has a little hood. Why is that important? Because the traditional turkey hunter hunts from inside the shadows. He's buried himself in the cover, okay? And to hide from the sharpest senses of the turkey hunter, which is his hearing and his eyes. And if you don't cover up while turkey hunting, gloves on your hands. If you don't wear gloves on your hands when a turkey's coming in and you move, your hands will look like a mime on the street. That bird will pick that up. A good traditional turkey hunter always wears his gloves, okay? So he doesn't look like a mime on the street. Bird will see that. Also, a mask to cover your face. If you don't have a mask to cover your face, I just put the mask on and put the hat on top of it. If you don't have a mask for your face, when that bird comes in, your face will shine like a full moon on a dark night in the deep woods, right smack dab in the middle of the day. That turkey will see you, and it will be over before it gets started. So, camouflage, gloves, a mask. Now, for those of us that wear glasses, I find wearing the mask to be problematic. So I have switched to face paint. I use this face paint. Yeah, I look silly, but I don't care. Turkey hunting is more important to me than whether or not I look silly or not. It's got a little mirror there where I can see the white spots on my face. But I will work my whole face, my ears and my neck, to shut down the shine of my face. And I don't mind doing it. In fact, I like it. Once it's on there, I don't have to look at myself. My hunting buddy might be looking at me and laughing, but I don't care, right? I hunt most of the time by myself anyway. So, yeah, face paint, makeup on your face, and you shouldn't. The problem with the mask is it fogs up my glasses. If you wear glasses and you've got the mask on and it fogs up at crunch time, and that has happened to me, I don't want it to happen again, I use the face paint. I've really said goodbye to the mask forever. I don't wear one. I use the face paint. All right, so turkey calls. you'll need to familiarize yourself with turkey calls. This is called a slate call or a pot call. It has a striker. You will make turkey sounds at a turkey. That's gobbling from the roost. All right, we'll talk about how you get there in a minute. Pot call. It's very simple to use. You learn the basic calling techniques, the yelp, cluck, the purr, and others. You'll need to learn and master as time goes by. Diaphragm call. Diaphragm call works very well, but you'll need to learn to master the diaphragm call. It's very sharp. It has a lot of reach, even though it's not loud, and it leaves your hands free. So master the diaphragm call. And let's see. The box call. This is my very first box call. It is a Lynch box call. And yeah, you can gobble with this thing. Listen to that. If you're down in the swamp and you hear a bird gobbling and he won't come in, sometimes that'll bring him in. I don't know. I'm not too crazy about the idea, but yeah, a gobble box. You can also yelp on it and purr. Do a multitude of calls with it. So I've got my backpack. A lot of traditional turkey hunters use a turkey vest. Put it on. It's got a seat cushion behind. You wear it like a backpack, but it's really just a vest. And it's got compartments and a place to put your bird, so it's easy to carry. I don't use a turkey vest. I use my backpack and carry all my gear in my backpack. And then you may want to consider decoys. We'll talk about decoys in a minute. But yeah, I don't use them, but I don't want to leave them out because a lot of people have killed turkeys using decoys. All right, so we're going to touch on those here in just a minute. So now that you have your shotgun, you've got your shells, you have sighted it in, and you know that your bird has to be within 30 yards to kill it. You've got some camo, you got your snake boots, and you've figured out some of the calling. What do you do from there? Okay, so you've got a place near your home that's open for turkey hunting, okay? And you're going to go and you're going to scout out turkeys. How do I scout out turkeys? Well, the first thing I do is I look for turkey tracks. I look for turkey tracks throughout the deer season. I'm always looking for turkey setups during the deer season. My hunting buddy already told me a spot where he saw some turkeys. So yeah, we're going to start our search from there. I have a permit for that area. I know where it is. He showed it to me. He showed me the birds. So why would I go anywhere else? I'm not going to look for turkeys someplace I already know where turkeys are, right? If you find turkey tracks on the road, you have found turkeys. Okay, the best time to go is after a rain, maybe 2 days after a rain, and look for tracks. Drive down the road, get out, and just look. Turkeys love to walk up and down the road and just feed on the grasses and the berries and whatever along the roadside of a clay road, of a management area. That's always what I do. And the next step would be to go out early in the morning and listen for gobbles. If you hear multiple gobbles down in the swamp early in the morning before the season starts, yeah, nothing wrong with that. You have found yourself a gobbler. Chances are, though, you got to keep this in mind, that if there are other people scouting out the area and that bird's gobbling, the other people are going to hear it. So that's probably a spot where you're not going to be alone. There'll be other hunters there. And sometimes I often ask myself, where do I think that turkey's going to end up? 10, 11 o'clock in the morning after he pitches down. They've always got the places that they go, right? So I entertain that idea as well. And sometimes the best process is not always to be there right at daylight and get them right off. Sometimes it's not very practical. But scouting is important, knowing where turkeys live. And yeah, the thing to remember also is that a gobbler can show up anywhere, anytime during the season. Bird can come from far, far away, right? Looking for hens at the end of the season. You've been hunting a certain spot, or you've been there 5 or 6 times and you have not heard a single gobble, and all of a sudden, there he is. Always keep in mind that that can happen, all right? So, you've got your gear, you've got your gun, you have found some turkeys, and you know where you're going to go turkey hunting. What do we do next? All right, well, you don't hunt out of a tree stand, right? You don't ride around on an e-bike. Okay, I see guys turkey hunting and they're riding around on e-bikes. I don't know how in the world you will hear a turkey gobble while riding around on an e-bike. You see guys doing something they call running and gunning. They'll get out their car or their truck and they'll call. And then they'll wait and listen to see if a bird gobbles. And if they don't hear one, well, they then hop back on their pickup truck or back on their bicycle and they race down the road to the next spot. And then they call there and listen. And yeah, turkeys gobble, oftentimes delayed response. That if I'm calling to a turkey, it might be 15 minutes for that bird responds to that call. But if he responds and I'm not there, I'm going to miss it. If I'm riding my bicycle, if you're riding a bicycle and a bird gobbles in the distance, safe to say, you're not going to hear him. That's a bird that you're not going to kill. You're off riding your bicycle. Turkey hunting is turkey hunting. Riding your bicycle is riding your bicycle. The two of them. If you're doing it, fine, go for it. But it's not traditional turkey hunting. And that's what this video is about. Traditional turkey hunting. So, I'm in the woods and it's breaking daylight and I'm in a spot where I believe turkeys inhabit. What do I do? Well, it all depends on the morning. If you don't hear any gobbles, you are going to want a travel route mapped out in your mind that leads to areas that might hold turkeys. You're going to want to walk slowly. You're going to want to walk slowly and listen. The ears of a turkey hunter are his greatest asset. I work in a welding shop. And the whole motivation for me to protect my ears when I'm working in there, hammering and grinding, is so I can hear gobbles. I put them earplugs in my ears. I use those ear protection because I know that if I'm in the woods turkey hunting and I don't hear him gobble, well, that's a problem. I have to be able to hear that bird gobble and know that he's there. Okay, maybe he'll just gobble one time. He gobbles one time and I don't hear him, right? Well, that's working against me. It's not working for me. So I'm easing my way through an area that I believe turkeys are living, and I'm quietly listening. Now, there you have several options, one of which is to use something called a locator call. This is what I would recommend. If the woods are quiet, turkeys do something called shock gobble. That they will gobble at a railroad train. They will gobble at a horn being blown. They will gobble at a crow. They will gobble at a hawk. They will gobble at each other, and you need to be tuned in, listening for the bird to gobble. So, yeah, you can use a locator call, a crow call, or a hoot owl call. But it's more to your advantage to learn to tune your ears to the things of nature. So when those crows start to sound off in the morning, if you're walking, trying to get to a spot, and you're not paying attention, you might miss that gobble. Sometimes that gobble sounds like a dog barking, go chop, 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 chop. If he's facing the other way, or if it's foggy, or if there are other noises, you may not hear it. Hearing turkeys gobble is one of the most important aspects to the traditional turkey hunter's process. So you got to move slow. You got to move silent, and you got to be quiet. Talking to one another can inhibit your ability to hear. Hearing is a learned art. Paying attention is an aspect to hearing. Just because your ears are open doesn't mean you're going to hear it. You ever see the guy who puts his cups like this and listens? That guy's listening, right? And that's what you need to be doing. You need to be looking up, listening for that gobble. Okay, the bird gobbles. Well then, now it always helps to know areas where you can set up. So you can get as close to that bird as possible. What's close? 100 yards. 100 yards. I'm not going to try and get any closer than that. He's going to hear me. He's going to see me, especially if he's in a tree. If he's in a big old pine tree looking down, why would I risk trying to get any closer than that? I've got a bird gobbling. Guess what? I've got a hunt. So I need to set up as soon as possible. Try to predict where that turkey, it's hard to, how that turkey might come in. Where's my best setup? You don't have to worry about the wind like you do deer hunting. You do have to worry about the sun. If the sun comes beaking up over the horizon and shining right in your eyes, well, that's something you need to be paying attention to. You can't have that sun shining right in your eyes because you're going to be sitting on the ground. You're going to be sitting on the ground with a seat cushion. I don't have my seat cushion here. With a seat cushion with your back to a tree with cover behind you. It's best to set up in a place where nothing can sneak up right up on you, behind you. Whether or not you use decoys at this point is up to you. I personally do not. I have killed turkeys using decoys on private land on a field, but I've never really been too successful. Yeah, I've had turkeys come in and see the decoy, turn around, walk the other way. But if you want to use decoys, if you like using decoys, nothing wrong with that. Part of a turkey hunter's tradition is to use decoys. Yeah, put them up out there someplace that will be likely. Use 2 or 3 if you want. Nothing wrong with that. So finding your spot behind a tree, inside cover, is hiding from the turkey. You're going to hide from that bird. You're going to have your face paint on, your gloves, your mask. You're going to be sitting on the ground with your shotgun in your lap, right? Like so. All right, so you've got a gobbling bird. You've got a good setup that you're happy with. You're blending into the cover. Hopefully the sun is coming up, maybe to your right or to your left or behind you, not dead in your face, right? And you're going to reach for your call. You're going to reach for your call, and you're going to make contact with that gobbler. And what we want to do is we want to do something soft and sexy, simple and subtle, just enough to get his attention. We're talking about public land birds. I've hunted turkeys on private land where I called to them like crazy. And they gobble and gobble and gobble and come in no problem at all. But I can tell you that on public land, where birds have been called to year after year after year and have survived, they've learned the difference. The best thing you can possibly do, calling to turkeys, is to keep the question in that bird's mind, is that really a hen? Should I be going in to investigate that call? It would sound something like this. This is what I would do. That's it. Wait and see, does he gobble at it? He heard it. If he's 100 yards away, he heard it. And he's made note of it in his mind. He might even pitch down and go the other way for a little while. And yeah, how often should you call? Well, I'd wait 20 minutes after that. The real threat to the turkey hunter in this time is that bird would come in silent, that you weren't paying attention. Maybe you get caught moving. Maybe the bird comes in, all of a sudden, boom, there he is. And you didn't know he was coming. It's always ideal to have that bird gobbling all the time. But making a bird gobble, using your call to try and entice them in and keep track of them all at the same time is typically not a good idea on public land. Okay, the more that bird gobbles, the more he's attracting hens. Especially, remember, this is all breeding, right? This is breeding season. That's what's going on. So the gobbler is gobbling to try to attract the hens. What you're doing when you call a turkey, when you call to a gobbler trying to get, you're reversing nature. You're doing the opposite of what they normally do. That the turkey pitches down and he gobbles and the hens come in. And when that happens, many times your hunt will be delayed because he's going to be busy with those hens. So that's the process for scenario A. Scenario B for the traditional turkey hunter. You've picked out a spot, you're going to go in there, and usually you don't plan on one or the other. It just happens. You get in there in the morning and you don't hear any gobbles. So you don't hear any gobbles, and you hear crows and you hear hawks, and there's no response, there's no shot gobble, and all is quiet. Sometimes the weather has a bearing. If it's really, really hot early in the morning, like 75, 78 degrees, steamy, hot weather, sometimes we'll shut them down. Stormy weather will sometimes shut them down. Typically, I don't think cold weather shuts them down, but maybe. Wind could have an effect if it's really windy that day on turkey gobbles. It certainly does have an effect on you hearing them, and that's for sure. But if you get to your favorite spot and you've eased your way into the woods and you're not hearing any gobbles, what I typically do is I take it slow and I walk and I cover territory. I really try to hear a gobble. I try to avoid the desire to set up somewhere and just call. Sometimes I do it though. Sometimes if I've been walking around for 2 hours and I've committed to myself that I'm hunting till 1, 2, 3 o'clock, yeah, this looks like a pretty good spot. I'm going to sit right here, set up, and call. Maybe I see some tracks, right? And if I see some tracks, that's that spot. And if it's a good setup, in other words, I got a good tree behind me, a good place to sit, yeah, I'm going to sit, shotgun ready, and I'm going to call softly and subtly one time. And then I'm going to wait maybe 20, 30 minutes. And I won't call again if I plan on moving. In other words, I won't call and wait only 10 minutes. If I call again, I've committed myself to that spot for another 20 or 30 minutes. Because the fear is that a bird's heard me. And he's slowly making his way in my direction, and I don't know it. You always want to be able to give that bird time to get there. And yeah, sometimes they come in and they're looking for the hen, and then they gobble. And they're right on top of you. I'm going to tell you, that's pretty awesome, man. You get into the woods and you haven't heard a gobble, and you're sitting there and you've been calling, and then all of a sudden there's one comes right on in. It's the greatest experience that a hunter can have. And that's what keeps us turkey hunting, right? That's what makes turkey hunting so special. It is the interaction with that bird. It's the calling to the bird. And yeah, it's a unique experience. And it's being lost because of those tactics, hiding behind a decoy going across a field. Is not traditional turkey hunting. Hunting from a blind with a bow and arrow is fine if that's what you want to do. But it's not traditional turkey hunting. Traditional turkey hunting is camo, snake boots, turkey calls, walking in the woods, hiding in the bushes with your back to a tree, calling to a turkey, having him gobble, and coming in range. Sometimes he hangs up. He hangs up out there at 55 yards. And yeah, that's just the way it is, okay? And yeah, if you hunt out of a blind, it's okay. If maybe you're handicapped in a wheelchair, it's acceptable to hunt turkeys out of a blind. But yeah, as far as this video is concerned, that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about moving through, hunting in public land through the flat woods and swamps of the Southeast, turkey hunting. How do you do it? This is how you do it. With the snake boots, the camo, the shotgun shells, everything we've discussed today is all about the traditional turkey hunting process. Why is it so important? Because it's the way, it is the most, in my view, it is the most effective way to turkey hunt. If you hear a turkey gobbling and you move in on that bird and you realize that there's another hunter calling to that bird, I think it would be all right for you to sit down and wait and see what unfolds. But I don't think it would be all right for you to call to that bird. Just let that other hunter have it, have at it, right? Avoiding other hunters at all costs. Due respect to our fellow hunters. Turkey hunting can be that way. It can be problematic for those of us in crowded woods. Got to find that spot, right? And remember, a gobbler can show up anywhere. There's no particular habitat. I heard a turkey hunter, Ben Rogers Lee, started his videos out with a turkey doesn't fear nothing. Here's his droppings hitting the ground. That's when he's on the roost, right? Turkeys love to roost over water. Why? Because it makes them safe. And yeah, they're very, very interesting creatures. The more you learn about the turkey, the better turkey hunter you'll be. And that is the whole key. And then the memories that you make turkey hunting, the fellowship that you have with your fellow turkey hunters. If you take somebody and you call in a turkey and they're able to kill it, man, it's just great. Furthermore, I personally like the idea stalking through the swamp, through the woods in the early morning darkness, in the peace and quiet of the wilderness, listening for that all-American turkey to call out and call me to attention, setting up and calling to that bird. There's something I don't know, Thanksgiving about it, right? It's just something that I really, really enjoy. So I hope I have passed on, I hope I have conveyed my passion for turkey hunting. It's coming up. I've got a quota permit for my favorite management area, and then there are places that I'll hunt throughout the whole season. I'll hunt. So how much will I hunt? I think it's 5 weekends here where I hunt, and I will hunt every weekend, probably Saturday or Sunday, and then I will hunt 1 weekday a week. So yeah, that'll be like 8 hunts, and sometimes I get it done, and sometimes I don't. But yeah, I hope this helps you. I hope I haven't offended anybody with the traditional turkey hunting promo. But yeah, it's just the way it is. If we work together, if we get out in the woods and we run into one another and we give each other the space that we need, we can all have a shot at our trophy turkey. All right, well, I love you guys. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Comment. Please comment if you want to. And yeah, if I left something out, I don't think I have. But if I did, comment. All right, love you guys. Talk to you soon. See you. Bye.